There's a place on Earth where the sun doesn't just shine, it scorches. Where heat rises off the ground in visible waves, distorting the air like a living, breathing thing. Where silence hangs heavy, broken only by the whistle of wind across salt-crusted flats and shifting sands. This is Death Valley, California, a place so extreme, so inhospitable and yet so mesmerizing that it has become known around the world as the hottest place on Earth. Death Valley sits along the eastern edge of California, straddling the Nevada border. It's part of the Mojave Desert, but it's far from typical. The valley is a vast geological depression that plunges more than 280 feet below sea level at its lowest point, a place called Badwater Basin. It's the lowest elevation in all of North America, and that depth plays a crucial role in why the valley is so blisteringly hot. The surrounding mountain ranges trap heat in the basin like a lid on a pressure cooker. Sunlight pours in and reflects off the rocky surfaces and salt flats. The air, dense and dry, sinks lower and heats up further. There's little moisture, no real vegetation to cool the ground, and virtually no cloud cover. Once the valley begins to heat, there's nowhere for the warmth to go. It stays, it accumulates, and it intensifies. The result? Some of the highest temperatures ever recorded on the planet. On July 10, 1913, Death Valley hit a staggering 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That reading, taken at Furnace Creek, has long stood as the official world record for the hottest air temperature ever measured. Over the years, some meteorologists have questioned its accuracy, suggesting the instruments may have been flawed or conditions misread. But the World Meteorological Organization still recognizes it as legitimate. And even if that record were somehow invalidated, modern readings continue to reinforce the valley's reputation. In August 2020, a verified temperature of 130 degrees was recorded, the highest reliably measured temperature in modern history. And in the years since, Death Valley has repeatedly approached that number, particularly during intense summer heat waves. These are not outliers anymore. They're becoming alarmingly frequent. Despite the dangers, people continue to visit. Thousands of tourists from around the world arrive each year, often in summer, ironically drawn by the same brutal conditions most would seek to avoid. Visitors take selfies beside the giant digital thermometer outside the Furnace Creek Visitor Center. They hike short trails early in the morning or late in the evening, and they feel the thrill of standing in a place so extreme that it borders on the otherworldly. But Death Valley is no amusement park. It demands respect. At these temperatures, heat stroke can occur in minutes. Car engines overheat. Metal surfaces become too hot to touch. Hikers can, and do, die if they underestimate the desert's power. The National Park Service issues regular warnings, reminding visitors to stay hydrated, avoid daytime hiking, and never leave their vehicles if stranded. Yet even in this hostile environment, life survives. The valley is home to a surprising array of desert-adapted species. In shallow, spring-fed pools, the tiny endangered Death Valley pupfish swims in water that can exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Creosote bushes, with roots that stretch deep into the earth, manage to cling to life in the dry soil. At night, animals like kit foxes, jackrabbits, and coyotes emerge under the stars, adapted to a nocturnal life that avoids the worst of the heat. Even wildflowers bloom here, though rarely. After a particularly wet winter, the desert can burst into color with a super bloom, vast stretches of yellow, purple, and white flowers that seem to defy the very nature of the land around them. These moments are fleeting, but they offer a glimpse into the desert's resilience. People live here too. Not many, but enough to form a small year-round community. Furnace Creek has a permanent population that includes park rangers, hospitality workers, and researchers. They've learned to adapt to the valley's rhythms, limiting outdoor exposure, relying on air conditioning and shade, and developing a deep respect for the land. Living here means understanding that the desert doesn't bend to your will. It doesn't care about your plans. If the power goes out, or your car won't start, or you wander too far without enough water, The consequences are immediate. As one local put it, you don't fight the desert. You either live with it or you leave. But Death Valley isn't just a place of natural extremes. It's also a sign of what may lie ahead. As the planet warms and global climate patterns become more unpredictable, Death Valley has taken on a new role, that of a harbinger. What was once considered rare or exceptional here is becoming increasingly normal elsewhere. Prolonged droughts, record-breaking heat waves, unrelenting sun. The line between survivable and unlivable is becoming thinner. The desert reminds us that climate change isn't just a political issue or a scientific debate. It's real, it's measurable, and it's already happening. Death Valley, once a symbol of extremes, now serves as a glimpse of the future. A future in which more and more places may begin to resemble this scorched, silent land. And yet, for all its danger and all its intensity, Death Valley has a haunting, unforgettable beauty. The salt flats glisten under the midday sun. The sand dunes shift and sculpt themselves with the wind. The mountains glow orange and pink during sunrise. And in the cool of early morning, when the valley briefly catches its breath, the silence is absolute. A kind of stillness that's rare anywhere else on Earth. It's a place of contradictions. Fierce but fragile. Unforgiving, yet filled with life. Ancient, but more relevant than ever. This is Death Valley, the hottest place on Earth. And maybe, in time, not the only one.
All World. Live like a local.